to begin by just relaxing, closing your eyes, just taking deep breaths, because I would like to offer an invocation. So Dailaan, this is a space of truth, of remembering, of being fully seen. There is nothing to prove, nothing to perfect, nothing to fix. Your story is already whole, just as you are. Today you are not here to explain or justify. You are here to explore, to speak, to breathe life into your own becoming. May you feel safe in your own voice. May you trust the pauses, the laughter, the raw, unfiltered pieces that want to rise. This is not about getting it right. This is about being real. So let it flow, let it land, and let yourself be witnessed. And so it is. We're going to begin by, I'm going to ask you, walk us through, if you can, how it started. It doesn't have to be too detailed, but how it started, and then where are you at in the present time?
20 years ago, I was diagnosed with osteoarthritis in my right knee.
Okay.
And about 6 years later, the left knee also got sore. And right from then, I think I was trying to correct my gait, the way I was walking because of the pain. I've noticed that my hips seem to be out of alignment as well, and so my walking is not smooth. Recently I've started Pilates, and so I'm able to correct that quite a bit, but I find in the last couple of weeks that it's sore again.
When did you know that you have scoliosis?
Oh, fairly recently, November, 2 or 3 months ago.
Oh, that's really recent. Okay.
Very recent.
So you have not had the scoliosis since you were a teenager?
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I have, but I didn't know it.
Notice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And is it giving you any sensation necessarily, like pain?
I've had lower back pain pretty consistently for almost 3 years.
Okay.
I had one incidence of lower back pain in 2018 that lasted for a couple of months. Then it went away. But when it started almost 3 years ago,
okay,
it's been pretty consistent. And I feel it more in the morning.
Okay.
I can usually stretch it out.
Upon waking up, it's already present?
Yes.
Okay. And how would you rate the intensity out of 10? 10 being the worst.
Right. For that early period of the day, I would say at least an 8.
Wow.
It's not a sharp.
What is it?
Different kinds of pain.
A dull
right?
pain?
It's kind of a dull pain, but what I notice is that if I carry something during that early part of the day, that's when my back really hurts.
When you're carrying?
Yeah.
And what relieves it? Resting?
What relieves it is exercise.
So mobility exercises?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there movements that you feel that it's easier when it comes to bending? Are there movements that feel rigid to you, or tense, or intensifies the sensations that are already present?
The only thing that I would say feels rigid is that when I walk, I've been told that one hip is higher or something, and so it doesn't feel like I'm walking smoothly. Okay. There's something going on in my hips.
Okay. The skin around the back, has it ever become red or swollen or tender to touch?
Not that I know of. Not swollen.
Or tenderness?
Tender, no. No. And actually, we're not really sure. I mean, it's manifesting in the lower back, but it might be in the mid-back as well. Sometimes itchy.
Sometimes itchy, okay.
Yes.
When it becomes itchy, Are there patterns that you can identify that it becomes itchy during these times? Or during these activities? Or are they random?
It's fairly random.
Have you ever had fevers from it? When it was painful, when it was intense?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. So it's primarily a dull, low back pain.
Mm-hmm.
How often would you have this pain? Is it an everyday pain? Is it once a week, once a month?
Every day.
Daily. Okay. Would it reach that point that you'd have to reach for medicine?
I have this cream, this deep blue rub,
Yes.
that I put on my back sometimes.
Okay.
If I feel like I've been up for an hour and the pain's not going away, and so.
And it helps.
Yeah.
So you said as soon as you wake up, the pain is there, and it can be 8 out of 10 in intensity.
Yeah.
How long would the pain remain before it lets up for the day? Or is it just constantly 8 out of 10 for the entire day?
Oh, I see. So I would say that the pain lasts for maybe an hour at the most. And it does go down to, like, it starts at about an 8. It does go down to, I don't know, 4 or 3, okay, I suppose, before I don't notice it again.
Okay. Does it ever go down to 0 in a day? Or is it always a present niggling pain?
Yeah, it goes down to 0 sometimes.
Okay.
I would say most days it goes down to 0 for, most of the day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to offer an interpretation, my interpretation, from GNM perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I thank you for sharing with me the reading that you got from the recent imaging, which was scoliosis. That was the curve of it, the C, was pointing to the right side of the lumbar area, L1. That's what it read.
Okay.
So scoliosis is a curvature of the spine, right? And if you can imagine, it's a C shape. Sometimes it can be an S, like a double C. But with you, the reading was C, and the curve was pointing to the right side of the L1 body.
So does that mean, like, curve this way?
Correct.
Okay.
Side to side. And you are right-handed.
Yes.
Correct. So for issues in the body that are on the same side as your dominant hand, according to GNM, these are conflicts that have to do with anybody who is not a mother or a child, or anybody who you are not nurturing. It's a partner.
Okay.
Considered a partner conflict. So that would be anybody in your life you would consider as a partner, not a mother or child you're nurturing. So that's from the GNM interpretation. Now, when it comes to skeletal system, the bones, they are related to or associated with the germ layer that is the new mesoderm.
Okay.
And the new mesoderm correlates with the brain organ that is the cerebral medulla.
Okay.
Yeah. And in that, the cerebral medulla processes conflicts that are related to self-devaluation conflicts.
I suspected as much.
We did.
Well, yeah.
So if we relate that to the earlier interpretation, where it's pointing us to is a self-devaluation conflict as it pertains to a partner. Now, I'm just going to go through the healing phases of your back issue. You may or may not have experienced these symptoms.
Okay.
So as you know, there is the phase where the conflict is active, and then it goes to a healing phase once the conflict is resolved. While the conflict is active, we don't usually feel any physical symptoms. By the time we experience physical symptoms, we've already entered the healing phase, which means we've resolved the conflict, and most of the time it's an unconscious resolution. It's good if we know it, that we are resolving it, but most of the time, for most of us, we didn't even know we resolved it, but the body is telling us that we have, because we're already having symptoms pertaining to the healing phase.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So perhaps while you were in conflict active, when this self-devaluation occurred with a partner, usually German New Medicine says when you're in conflict active phase, you're in fight or flight. So your sympathetic nervous system is up and running. You're in fight or flight. So you're hypervigilant. You might be anxious. It might manifest as anxiety. It might manifest as nothing necessarily on the back, but perhaps slight tension. Very generic, nothing specific. The hands and feet will be cold because the blood vessels will be constricted, directing all their energy to the important organs. You may have had around that time, or even prior, a few months prior to you having it, a poor sleep quality, because the brain is still processing ways of how to resolve it. Fragmented sleep, disturbed sleep. So you may have gone through a period of that, or just persistent worrying about that issue of self. There was a conflict that started. Maybe you were worrying around that time.
Right.
So that's your conflict active phase. Now, once you resolve that, the psyche, not you necessarily consciously, but once the psyche resolves it, then you enter the healing phase. And it's the opposite now. The parasympathetic kicks in, and now you get warm hands, warm feet, because the blood vessels start expanding and blood rushes through. And with the blood comes the helper cells. Fatigue sets in. So all the tension and anxiety you've been holding suddenly let loose, let up. You start relaxing. On the other end of that is fatigue. You sleep more. You sleep longer. You may experience the pain may start setting in. Warmth to that area. You may notice fever could happen, although you said in your case you didn't really have any fevers.
Yeah,
you didn't see any redness around the skin. So those were possible scenarios that could have happened. Or maybe they were happening, like inflammation, swelling, but maybe you were distracted by something else. So that's the healing phase of the conflict. Okay. And of course, you as the individual starts relaxing, less anxiety, more calm.
Right. Can I ask a question at this point? So you talked about how sometimes the psyche resolves the issue.
Yeah.
The fact that I am experiencing pain,
yes,
ongoing, does that suggest that the psyche has not resolved the issue?
Possible. Perhaps there is an ongoing issue, a different layer that has not yet been resolved. So maybe your psyche resolved one layer of it, but because there are many layers to us, perhaps there is another biological program running from, say, your knees.
Yes. Okay.
It's possible. So the physical layer is done. We're going to go into the emotional layer. And my questions, because your body is talking all the time, right? Our bodies are talking all the time, but the question is, are we listening? When that back pain comes, what emotions rise up within you and how do you deal with it?
So when I have back pain, I'm really going to have to think about this. I mean,
is that because you push it aside? You push the pain away? You distract yourself so not to feel the pain?
Yes, I think I do. And I haven't specifically asked my back pain what it's trying to tell me.
Okay.
I talk to my knee, but I don't talk to my back.
And yet you chose our topic today to be the back, not the knees.
Yes, my higher self. Okay. I would say I have frustration. I feel frustration frustrated.
Okay.
Especially early in the morning, there's something heavy to pick up. That does happen once in a while. Like I'll make a pot of soup and I'll put it by the door to keep cool during the night. Yes. And then I put it in the, get it out in the day and the morning.
Yes.
That's frustrating to me that, that it's hard to carry something because that's when I feel the pain particularly.
Okay. Have there been any moments where you did try to sit with that discomfort instead of pushing it away? No.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
That would be a good idea.
What do you think would happen if you sit with it and let it speak to you? What do you think it would say?
I think it would tell me that I'm feeling not supported.
Okay.
And then I would have a conversation with that and say, how can I support myself?
Okay.
I'm at a point in my life where I realize that I can learn how to support myself.
Okay.
And this has come about, I think, because I've been separated for the last 3 years and still in the back of my mind thinking, if I'm in trouble, who's going to help me?
Okay.
Yep. So that does go through my mind.
I'm just going to connect what you just said. You said, I have been not feeling separated for the last 3 years. And if I rewind our conversation when we were talking about when did this begin, you did mention around 3 years ago. I don't know if you remember that.
Exactly then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just pointing it out
for
now. Okay. So
I was also, at that time that it started, I was also sleeping in a small bed. It was in a small room where the bed was kind of snug up against a metal filing cabinet. And there was this feeling of this.
What is that?
Tightness. It was like I don't have very much room to spread out.
Okay. I'm going to go back to what I said about the skeletal system. From the GNM or Germany medicine perspective, it is, if you think about creating a building, the skeletal system is our scaffold, right? It defines our structure. It may not necessarily be part of the life-sustaining organs, but it does define our structure. Without it, without which the building will not have support or integrity. I'm going to now use that in a symbolic way and say that the bones, the skeletal system, your back, is the one that is supporting you, holding your integrity or representing integrity and a feeling of being supported in life, your structural self-worth. I'm going to add another layer to that from the chakra perspective. That lumbar area straddles two energy centers or two chakras. One is the root, and it's our foundational support.
Survival.
So instability will bring a deep sense of not being good enough to stand on your own. It also straddles the sacral chakra, which is all about creativity and emotional expression. And if that is imbalanced, then we have difficulty expressing ourselves or our needs or our desires. Okay. With that, if your spine represents the foundation you stand on, where in your relationships do you feel unsupported? Are there moments when you have sacrificed your own balance to keep things from falling apart?
When my intuition is telling me something else, and I don't honor that, that really came out in my last relationship.
Okay.
as I look back, I think that was the biggest lesson I learned. There were times when I did not honor my intuition about the way, like when my husband and I made decisions about things, he would really, really, really want something. There was a time at which I realized that if I didn't listen to my intuition, that I didn't care if I lived or died. That was big. I had fantasies of.
See?
Just walking into the river and not coming out.
It was that bad.
Yeah. That really taught me that it was about betrayal of self. And so at the end of the relationship, I made a decision that I felt I needed to make because I needed to protect myself and my health.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not see it that way. But also, it was at that point that I realized that he cared more about other things, like acceptance in the wider community or whatever, than he did about my health. That's how it felt. So,
so in that way, you did not feel supported.
I didn't feel supported, but I made a decision that was a tough decision to make. But I knew I was making the right decision for me.
Because you were finally listening to your intuition.
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
If your spine is the one that holds you up, do you feel like, or did you in that relationship feel like you were constantly holding it together for your partner even when it drained you?
Yes, the last 5 years.
Okay.
Before that, it wasn't. I felt
wasn't
supported.
The case. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to share what triggered or what shifted in the last 5 years?
So it started in 2016. There was a series of deaths, and
your side or his side?
Well, both.
There were deaths in the family.
So there were two deaths in the family. About 6 weeks after that, one of my husband's colleagues committed suicide.
Okay.
That was a big shock. That changed him at first because he ended up going on a medical leave. And in effect, taking retirement almost a year early, which was fine. It's just, there were other events too, like political events in the world, that seemed to amp up his anxiety. And then 2 years later, in 2018, I retired. So we were both home. So that's a stressor that I wasn't really aware of at the time. Just sharing space and, yeah.
Too close for comfort.
Too close for comfort. And I was also trying to start a business and do some part-time work, and feeling kind of overwhelmed by it. So there was a lot of, there was tension and there was anxiety.
So you were holding your own and you were holding his pain as well.
Looking back, I think I was trying to hold it together because it never occurred to me that, like, first of all, I did ask him to go to counseling with me, and that did help for a while. He was on medication for anxiety and had been for years. He believed that it was inevitable that he would end up on medication because his brother and his sister had, and dynamics in the family, and so he believed that. And he's also medical model, really oriented toward the medical model. And I realized that I was having difficulty dealing with I didn't know what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
And felt that I needed to be supportive.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to, I ended up challenging him more than he wanted to be challenged, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I did feel like I was walking that fine line.
So you were holding it together for both of you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're connecting it to the chakra.
Yep.
If the chakra center that is affected is the sacral, which is all about creativity, which is all about your creative potential. Is your pain a reflection of you holding back what could have been an explosion of creation in so many ways? Work, love life, relationships with friends, family, the outside world.
So I think part of the overwhelm was feeling like I wanted to express myself, but I was afraid to. I was afraid to express myself in writing, in developing relationships with people, especially around business relationships.
Okay.
I was holding myself back in the bedroom
Okay.
because I wasn't feeling safe. There was something going on there that I wasn't feeling safe. Okay. And I wasn't feeling respected. I wanted to feel respected. I wanted to feel that my partner valued my opinion.
Yeah. So you did have that feeling of holding back. Yeah. In so many areas of your life.
Yeah. Okay. But I wasn't like, the holding back in the bedroom. I wasn't conscious of that and why until I started sleeping separately. Yes. Yeah, and that's when I had some realizations about that. Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna peel back another layer, and this now I wanted to bring to your attention the patterns that you have in terms of behavior. There are 3 patterns that stood out for you based on your blueprint. The first pattern that the reports highlighted was overthinking, self-doubt, and fear of making the wrong choice. Mm-hmm. You have this underlying fear, what if I make the wrong choice? So the rigidity is the resistance in trusting yourself. How often do you tell yourself, I'll move when I know for sure. I'll do it when I know for sure, when I know for certain, only to find yourself in the same place, waiting, overanalyzing, questioning.
Yeah, I get that. There are times when I make a decision, either to sign up for something or accept somebody's invitation or something, and I accept it kind of almost impulsively. It's like it feels like the right thing to do, and so I do it.
Yeah.
Other times I wait. Okay. Now, what that profile validated for me is that there's value in waiting sometimes. Mm-hmm. What I do is I wait too long.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because you're overanalyzing.
Yeah. And I did say to you one time recently, you're amazing because you get an idea for something and you just do it. Right? You put something like this together, or you you do a video, and I overthink it.
You overthink things.
Yeah. And I think below that is, what will people think of me? Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be held back by that. Mm-hmm. But that is what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, because when you have this need for things to be absolutely certain before you move forward, that's the rigidity. That's your body carrying it out for you. Mm-hmm. It's a holding pattern. And it's imprinted in your body.
Because I've been asking myself since yesterday, in what ways am I inflexible and how can I change that?
Okay.
So what you're saying is that overthinking it is like being inflexible.
Thoughts, yes.
Yes.
Your thoughts. You keep waiting for the right time that will support you in making the right choice. But yes, in that thought, you marinate too long in that thought. And your body holds it for you.
Right. Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It really does. Especially because since I've recognized the thing about you, and you just go ahead and do it, when I have thoughts when I'm driving or when I wake up in the middle of the night, I have paper beside my bed, so I write down things. But sometimes it's stuff that comes to me, and it just comes at the wrong time. If I had a way of just picking up my phone and, I don't know, finding the right app so that I could just speak, I still have to train myself to do that because it doesn't come naturally. But that would help with the flexibility.
And now it's in your awareness. Whereas before, you weren't even conscious of it.
Yes.
Now that you are, then now you start making steps towards correcting it if you wanted to.
Yep.
Right? It's neither right nor wrong. It just is. It's the way, it's your pattern. It's part of your blueprint. It's part of your, I wouldn't say shadow, but it is part of your work in progress. It's what makes you you.
I also wondered about the diplomacy thing.
Like that's coming next.
Oh, good. Okay. I'll let you go there.
You know how, so when you have scoliosis, if you can imagine, it's a C shape, right? So one part of your muscles are trying to make them straight, but it's not because the back is curved. The spine itself is bent. So your muscles are trying to make it aligned, and so they're being pulled in one is pulling it to this direction, the other one is pulling it to another direction in the hopes of aligning it. And when you replay your past decisions, do you feel like you were being pulled in different directions and unable to fully trust yourself?
Yes. Yes. There were some times when I felt that way.
So are you starting to understand now why you have the scoliosis? This is why.
Yes.
Yes. Your body is holding all of that for you. All of the energy dynamics that you go through. And you've been going through for years. And it's imprinted in the body.
Yes. Okay. And so is it possible that I was not born this way, or maybe born with a tiny, tiny bit, and then it's just become tighter and tighter?
Of course.
Okay.
And is it possible that you can undo all of that?
It's got to be.
Of course.
It's got to be.
It's got to, yes. So the second pattern that I will offer to you is you do have fear of expressing your truth and you hold back, which is what you just said. The underlying fear is if I speak my truth, I might be misunderstood, or at worst, I might be rejected.
Yep.
How is the bend in your spine mirroring the ways you twist yourself, shaping your words to keep the peace, censoring yourself to avoid conflict, bending to fit into spaces that do not honor your full expression?
I've had a tendency to that, but the last 4 to 5 years have really challenged that.
Yeah.
Because I can be gaslit for telling my truth. Now, there's two things. I can tell my truth. This is what I've decided is right for me. But when this thing started 4 to 5 years ago, I felt I needed to warn my loved ones
of something.
That's a different approach. So I've had to learn over the last few years that, first of all, and this was partly what led to the breakup of my marriage. I realized that I did not have the right to tell somebody else what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't make it, how would I say, I didn't make it really clear to him that if he got this thing, that I would be worried enough about my health that I wouldn't sleep with him.
Mm-hmm.
I have realized that I need to find a way of expressing my belief about something in a way that is not forcing, controlling, telling somebody what to do.
And how often do you adjust your truth just to be understood?
Oh, 90% of the time.
So,
with those certain people.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because you want to make sure that it lands softly on them.
I do.
Do you think there's a way that it could land softly on them without censoring yourself, without twisting your words to accommodate them?
Yes. I haven't perfected it yet.
That's okay.
I'm still working on that part.
And this part of the session is just really making you aware of why did scoliosis develop? Could have been anything.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been anything in your body, but why the scoliosis? How did that twist itself? How did my spine twist itself?
Because I was twisting my words.
You were accommodating the contortions, the distortions within you. And it's your body is keeping the score. Yeah. It is a literal.
So it's doing a good job.
Yes.
But it's not quite, we need to change that.
Yes. According to you. Everything is from your perspective, right?
Because I want to.
Yes.
That's
your
all
choice.
that needs to happen is because I want to.
Because you choose to have a different experience now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also feel like you mentioned misunderstood. And I hadn't consciously thought misunderstood. Oh, I don't feel misunderstood. But yeah, I do with certain things. Like my trip to France. I don't choose to tell everybody what it was all about. Because
what are you afraid of?
It's kind of a new idea, and
are you afraid of being misunderstood, or are you afraid of being rejected because of this new idea?
Yeah, probably both. I think the fear of being misunderstood leads to the fear of rejection. It's there.
Yeah.
But I also think that it makes sense not to bring up things that you're pretty sure that people are not really going to connect with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the diplomacy part.
Mm-hmm. There is a difference, I find, when you are trying to share your belief and just sharing, or you're trying to impose it on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I encounter that sometimes when I talk to patients. There's a difference between, for myself, I've realized it for myself, when I'm trying to impose my belief on someone or when I'm just sharing. And the difference that I find is when I'm imposing, I feel aggrieved. I feel attacked.
Like
I feel rejected.
Like you're the professional and people are not respecting
I feel
that.
slighted.
Yeah.
But when I'm just sharing, doesn't matter what you say. You take my words or not. Okay, not my loss. That I find is the main difference.
Yeah.
When you're just sharing, you're detached from the outcome.
So in my case, relating back to what I said, do I feel aggrieved?
Slighted, insulted, rejected, because we are attached to the outcome when we are imposing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But if I can express that in terms of, this is just me, it might not, I'm saying to somebody,
yes,
this might not be, for you, it might not be part of your belief system, but I'm hoping that we can, I don't even.
It's like saying, I like chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to like it.
This is what really rings true for me is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I like chocolate, you like milk, we don't have to fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
And this has been, getting this distinction is really important for me, because I've wondered, in what ways am I controlling? And in what ways is that controlling actually working against me? Mm-hmm. And I noticed some of this in my mom, and I noticed how that shows up in me. So that's helped instruct me about ways in which I am controlling, or attempting to control.
And be aware when you're sharing. You might think you're sharing, but the other being, because we're energy, they pick up on our body language. They pick up on all the energetics that we bring to that space. So I might say, I'm just sharing. But my energetic countenance is, no, you have to believe this.
Right.
That's right. All the unspoken.
So we have to get ourselves into a certain place of neutrality before we even...
Or love.
Speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. The last pattern that you carry is fear of vulnerability, in the belief that it's safer to stay in control than to feel deeply. Do you resonate with that?
I'd forgotten about that one.
Mm-hmm. How is the curve in your spine reflecting the emotions that you have twisted yourself around? Where have you softened your voice? Where have you swallowed your truth, held yourself in a shape that was not yours just to keep things steady? And I think you had explored that earlier also.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that.
So it's your spine has adapted to hold you up, even as it is misaligned. It has twisted itself to keep you standing. It's trying to be aligned with you.
Right. So the question is, where have I
compromised yourself, twisted yourself in a way that you weren't aligned with your own truth? And I think you've answered that in the previous questions.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I feel I've twisted myself when it comes to my belief system.
Okay.
Not my belief system generally, but my belief in, because I was raised in a religious family.
Okay.
And like I used to say to myself, I just wish I could fit in that box, but I can't. And I fought against that for a long time. I didn't understand. I have a much better understanding now of that was my intuition.
If that was your belief system represented by a box, your body has accommodated that. Instead of it, spreading out, it has accommodated that rigidity.
Yes. So
it's lovely, isn't it? The way our body can send us the messages that we need to hear. So
that really is amazing. I have to just stop there and take that in, because that is profound.
It reflects our inner world. If we only pay attention.
Yeah.
And yet, when you go to your traditional medical doctor, all they will do is, okay, x-ray, physio, just the physical aspect of it, without really delving into, well, what is it that I actually did to make it this way? Because then if I know, then I can unwind myself.
So will that work for me to just think of it this way?
Mm.
And unwinding myself?
Unwinding yourself in a metaphysical way, in an energetic way, in a symbolic way. Because once you unwind yourself in that way, because you're an energy body, you're not fixed, you're not solid. It will follow you. Your body will follow your thoughts. That's the beauty of it. It's just a message. It's not final.
Yeah, but that's also making me think that expressing myself and sharing my feelings and my voice more often without holding myself back is helping to...
Correct. Yes. And then Mona's helping you with the physical aspect of unwinding you.
Yeah.
So while she's helping you with the physical, you're doing the metaphysical.
I know someone who claims to have healed herself from scoliosis.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we come to the part wherein we're going to start looking at your story now. The narrative that you are carrying currently.
Okay.
And it is anchored on your truth. I did not make this up. This is your blueprint. So your truth. You make people feel at home, not just in a space, but in themselves. I might need that Kleenex for myself. You have been living in a story. No, it's okay. You've been living in a story where you don't get to feel at home in your own being. A story that says you have to hold everything together for everyone else before you can rest. A story that tells you to bend, to twist, and to carry things that were never yours to hold. And your body is calling it bullshit. That tension, that curve in your spine, it's a message. It's a sacred invitation to stand tall in your own truth. So, let's get real about what needs to shift. These are the big questions now. We're trying to unpack your story now.
Yeah.
When you were trying to share your truth, but no matter how you navigated it so that it will land softly, it was not enough. Because that has shaped the way you communicate with other people. That has shaped your behavior of holding back.
Okay. What comes to mind first is I've had 3 major relationships. And at some point in those relationships, I had that feeling. Not just once, but something shifted. And I had that feeling for a period of time.
And the joy was out of reach again.
And the joy was out of reach. Yeah.
Okay. Your gift is bringing others back to beauty and back to joy. That's your gift.
Back to the first word, back to
beauty.
Beauty and back to joy.
And back to joy.
Goodness.
That's your gift.
Oh my
now,
goodness.
Is that the first time you're hearing it?
I'm thinking, why didn't I remember that? Because I read that.
That is your biggest gift, is bringing others back to beauty and back to joy. Now, what would it mean to allow yourself that same gift? In our relationship, how when I reflected on these questions, and I made the questions, but when I was creating them, I was reflecting on our relationship, right? How we've evolved from doctor-patient to someone who, you're someone who I really, really treasure, because you have this amazing gift of holding space. I know that I can come to you without being judged. I know that. And I can come to you with my truth without holding back. And when I was formulating the question, I was asking myself, I was pretending I was talking to you, and I was asking you, if you can allow me that, can you allow yourself that? Can you hold space for yourself without judging yourself for the truth that you carry? Because you have a beautiful gift. And if you can give it to me, why can you not give it to yourself?
First of all,
I so love you.
I just love you.
I so love you.
I really do. My soul sister. I'm so glad I wrote that email and said, after you sent an email saying I'm closing my practice, and you know.
Okay. Oh yeah, I did.
And
yeah.
it was very heartfelt.
It was a generic email.
No,
I mean, it was sent to everybody else.
Yeah. And I'm so glad I reached out to you at that point.
Remind me, I don't remember.
I reached out to you. I'm not even sure what I said, but you were closing your practice at a time when people were making tough decisions. And I hope I thanked you for your care. And
you thanked me in many ways. If you can allow someone space without judgment, can you allow it for yourself?
Well, my first reaction is I think I do for most things, but I think I'm also aware of the parts of myself that I couldn't accept before. I mean, this journey that I've been on for the last year and a half or so has really helped me do that. It's helped me make peace with the fact that I'm a deep feeler. It's helped me make peace with some of the ideals that I have about relationship, not just intimate relationships, but
in general.
In general, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, after we've talked about this, I'll be thinking about, where am I not allowing myself space?
Yeah.
But maybe I was being hard on myself.
We all
and I have lessened my grip on my kids. And I'm showing more appreciation to them for being the amazing people that they are. Actually, Marusha and I are closer. There's something about our relationship that has changed a bit.
Because once you shift to a higher frequency, and whoever is within your field will enter into you. And that's why she has changed.
So there's so much more heart in my relationship with her and with my son and his wife.
Everything
is
doing
what it needs to do.
Happening perfectly. Yeah. Everything. Even when we think it's not. It still is. You are allowing yourself more compassion.
Yeah.
Receiving more compassion from yourself.
And I feel very fortunate actually to be on my own right now. Because I can do that for myself.
You have created your own space of peace.
Yeah. You said that my gift
is bringing beauty
and joy
in the world. That's your greatest gift. Because we have many gifts. That is your greatest gift.
The beauty and joy.
And a sense of home within themselves.
Within themselves, yeah. one of the things that I have felt drawn to do, and which people have responded to really well, is to hold women's gatherings. I'm stepping into a territory where I'm stepping into a leadership role that I don't feel entirely confident in yet. But I had 9 women show up in November. I had 6 show up on a snowy day, Sunday. It's like, and it's all about we talked about ways in which we've shown up as a wounded feminine aspect of ourselves. People seem to want to, well, not everybody, but a lot of the people in my circle, find that really valuable right now. So I'm grateful for that.
So my next question, those beliefs that kept you stuck in self-doubt, the fear of getting it wrong, where did that come from?
Fear of getting it wrong. The first thought I had was my father teaching me how to play chess, or teaching me, he was in the insurance business.
Mm-hmm. And you had a fear of disappointing him? Getting it wrong.
And I also felt like there was something going on with, I love my father dearly, but I always felt it was almost like he and I, we tried, but we didn't quite understand each other, which is like, I'm very much like my dad in some ways. There was that fear, I guess, of disappointing him, or it's like when he tried to explain something to me, it's like fight or flight kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't take in what he was teaching me about money, particularly. It just went over my head because I couldn't really zero in on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what was the original?
That's where your belief, where you have to get things right first before you take action. And you ruminate about decisions.
Yes.
Because you lack trust in yourself.
When I was growing up, I was always in the music festival, and I never came first. It was always second or third. Because there was these other two girls.
So where is the idea that being first is best? Where did that come from? Who instilled that in your brain?
I don't know where that came from.
You have to be first in order to succeed, or in order to be someone.
Maybe I just wanted to be seen.
Or maybe that. Because he wasn't seeing you. Literally and symbolically, he wasn't seeing you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. Just sit
and
with
I guess maybe if I came in first, I mean, that's more
maybe
noticeable
he'll see
than
you.
coming in second or third, right?
So, if your body, your mind were a garden, are there still stories that you think, like plants, they need to stay there? Or are there aspects of your story that are like weeds now that need to be pulled out?
Oh. It's overgrown.
That was overgrown, okay. That was quick. All right.
I love your analogies, by the way. They're really useful.
So, the next part of the layer now is illuminating your gifts. And I'm going to ask you first, what do you think from this story that you have carried for so long? The self-doubt, right? The sense of joy that was so out of reach that you had to suffer 3 marriages when you weren't feeling heard with your truth. Out of that story, what do you think came out of that in terms of strengths that you now know about yourself?
I've learned to value my sensitivity. And value my intuition.
Yeah.
I feel like it's taken me a long time.
But now you have embodied it.
And I have some tools. I have more awareness of consciousness, and what my dreams might be telling me, and what my intuition is telling me, and I meditate now, and I never did before, a couple of years ago.
So yeah, so those are the gems that we mine from your story. One of your strengths. Your spine has learned to twist to keep you safe, but you were never meant to contort yourself for the world. You are wired for alignment, inside and out. The same way you sense when something is off in others, your body is speaking to you. So this is your invitation to stand tall in your truth. That's just one.
Okay.
Another strength that you have is your words are medicine. Your presence shifts the air around you. So now, when you let yourself be as free as the wisdom that you share, what would it feel if the healing that you gain from that is just another way of being heard by yourself? You're so willing to listen to others' truths, but now your body is telling you, what about you listen to your own truth? And start aligning from the inside.
Listen to my own truth, and maybe sometimes ask other people to listen to mine.
There you go.
Ask
Asserting
for that
yourself.
for myself.
Yeah. The other one, you are the master of reinvention and change. You've gone through three separations. You are the master of change. You're not afraid to step into new phases of life, and you leave behind what no longer serves you. So your pain, this problem in your body, they are just portals, invitations.
I wondered how you were going to, okay.
It's another doorway into the next version of you. So you let your old beliefs, let them go. It's time to stand tall.
I just need to stretch.
Good. Release that energy that's been stuck. Those are your strengths. How does it feel to hear them?
Well, much like I told you the other day, I read it and I thought, I love this person. She sounds really cool.
Good. Because she is. Now, another one of your most important gifts is your gift of expression. You have a way with words. Your words are very powerful.
Yeah, I read that too, and I thought, I'm having more trouble with word finding these days. And so,
Maybe it's an invitation to trust yourself. Whatever words come out. You don't have to censor it.
Do you think it's possible to just sort of change your mindset so that you just don't censor yourself, don't filter yourself, you just...
That's what I just said. Don't censor. You overthink things. Don't overanalyze. Not for another.
So is my overthinking contributing to my lack of
difficulty word finding?
Okay.
Because you are trying to make sure that the word is perfect, land safely. You have a checklist, that you have a filter that is in your mind. Oh, it has to be this, it has to be that.
Yes, I do.
Forget it.
Yeah.
See?
Diplomacy is a good thing, but it can be overdone.
Yes. And it's not a life and death situation that you're in.
Right. I have had a feeling at times, much of my life actually, like nobody hears me. This is another thing that happens. I'm hard of hearing, right? So when I'm in a group of people, if I want to speak up and say something, I'm really, 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 really careful that I'm not going to speak when somebody else is speaking, because I feel embarrassed when I start speaking and then I realize that somebody else is speaking and I didn't hear them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I get that.
So
you're being accommodating. Accommodating.
Yeah. So when I am with someone who seems like they love to talk, and they talk and talk and talk and talk, and I have something to say, I'm really, it's like driving a car, you know, and trying to pull out just at the right time. And I don't need to be that careful.
Yes, there are situations when that is called for, but not every time.
Well, the other thing is that I think a lot of my life I've spoken softly. I have to make a conscious effort to speak the way I am now.
Mm-hmm. When you speak, people listen. So imagine your words like a microphone at a concert. When you speak with clarity and emotion, the audience tunes in and feels deeply connected. So drop your old script, the one where you hold back, where you twist yourself into shapes that don't fit, when you make yourself small so the world feels more comfortable. That story is expired. Every struggle, every time you bent instead of standing tall, every word you swallowed, those were not failures on your part. Those were just, if you can just see them as unfolding, you're becoming. So now you're able to speak fully. You can now move freely without awareness. You can now own every inch of your space. So if your life were a speech, and one that people needed to hear, one that shook them awake to their core, what would your message be? What truths have you been whispering to yourself that the world needs to hear?
Listening to your intuition and honoring yourself. Honoring your intuition. So actively trying to make space in your life so that you have those messages and then acting on them. I guess allowing myself my voice, and something about giving myself permission to make mistakes, talk over top of people. Yeah, that's only one example.
Okay, good. I'm not making comments because I'm allowing you to integrate what you just said.
Okay.
Because I could make comments, but I would rather just allow you to integrate what's coming out of you. This next one you will love. What if every curve, every twist in your spine, just let it sink in, is part of the rhythm of your song that you are still writing? So they are not defects. They're not defects. Flow with it. Flow with the bends. Flow with the twists.
They're part of my journey.
They're part of you. And as you unwind your journey and as you keep writing your song, you will coax them to go with you as you align yourself to stand in your truth.
I like that. I hope you'll write that down for me.
I can. I can. So it's a call for a new alignment now. And you can do it.
One of the things that I've thought about during this time with you is when you talk about beauty and joy, I know you're talking about that's a gift that I bring to others, but I can bring that to myself. And one of the ways that I can bring that to myself is by playing the piano more often, going to the opera, because that, I really get often these full body chills, you know. And I'm thinking that I could even use those full body chills to kind of straighten everything out.
You know the download that just came to me right now? Because you're a musician, right? This is a score sheet. Imagine it's a score sheet. Piano.
Yep.
That's what you call them, right? Score.
It's a score. Yeah.
What do you call them?
A score is for orchestral.
Okay, what do you call them? A simple piece. It
sheet
has the notes in it.
Sheet music.
Music sheet.
Yeah.
And your spine has carried that music sheet for the last something years of your life.
Right.
But you're rewriting your song, and you keep writing a new song. So as you keep writing your new song, this was a vision that I just got now. You're gonna start now rewriting that piece, aligning it, however way you see fit. It still carries the bends and the scars.
Yeah, I'm looking at that and thinking that is the tracks.
But
it's serving me now because it's
beautiful.
It's open.
It's beautiful. It's not perfectly like this, right? Without any crinkles.
Yeah.
But I love this. Because
like,
these are my crinkles.
It's like an aging face with wrinkles.
Because these are mine.
Yeah.
This is my story. This is my song.
There's a song that goes like that, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
This is my story. This is my song. All the day long.
Yes, you know that one.
All right. So, breathe that in.
Nice.
Literally, it just came now. Your voice is your home. And we're just bringing you back to your home. Your song is your home. We're just bringing you back. So trust the unfolding of your song and trust the unfolding of your spine.
And it just came to me. It's not just words I need to sing. I need to sing and like vocalize sing. One of the things that I can do at the drop of a hat is make up a melody.
So as you're making that melody, sing to your spine.
Oh, I love it.
Sing to it like your old friend
that
has carried you. It has carried you through.
It has carried me and it just loved me.
It loved you and you're reacquainting yourself with that relationship that you have forgotten.
Right. Right.
It is part of you. It's not a defect. The doctors will keep telling you it's a defect. But it's a sweet, sweet part of you.
Yep. Yeah.
Now you can sing with it.
Yep.
And as you tune in, it will tell you what notes it needs to heal.
This is something that I want to explore a bit more because I really believe that sound and frequency can heal.
I'm trying to tune into the message that I got a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
She knows the frequencies that is needed to heal. She's tuned in to the frequencies that are needed to heal. So if you can do it for another person, you can do it for your spine. Your spine will tell you what frequencies it needs to heal. And you sing it. You sing it. It will not come from Spotify. You will create that music for your spine.
No, I get that. And and have an idea about how I can at least start that exploration.
So trust your unfolding. Trust the unfolding of your score sheet and your spine. Because you're clearing this, I think it will come to you directly. It doesn't have to come through me or others. I think it will come to you directly.
As I started to say that, I thought, I'm asking Richie to, sort of keep an eye out if she comes across anything. And I was thinking, she might send me a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, okay, I just need to figure this out.
Trust yourself.
Yeah.
It's a channeled music. Yummy, isn't it?
Oh.
Okay, we're coming to the end.
Okay.
I'm going to now give you 5 affirmations. I'm going to say them out loud. I want you to tune in to which one you find the most resistant to.
Oh, okay.
Not the one you resonate with most, the one you are most resistant to. And number 4, my life is meant to feel like play, like wonder, like pure, easy flow.
Oh, I think it's 4.
That you're resistant to.
Yeah, I mean, I love that idea. It's just that I do feel resistance. It's sort of like, is that all? Like,
okay.
What about
what about hard work?
Yeah.
All right. So what we are going to do now, this is the last. We are now going to embody that affirmation that you chose, the one that you're having a hard time with, but it is your truth. I mean, I got them from your blueprint, so it is part of your truth. So we're going to help you embody that.